Joe Biden has taken an unprecedented step issuing a pardon for his own son, Hunter Biden. The political fallout has been swift and intense. Public outrage is mounting, the media is scrambling to reframe the narrative, and Democrats find themselves in an uncomfortable position, struggling to reconcile their past statements with the present reality. But what truly shocked the nation was Jon Stewart's blistering critique. With unflinching candor, he exposed the glaring hypocrisy of Biden, the Democratic Party, and their media allies, leaving the audience in uproar. Now, a pressing question remains: can Biden's party distance itself before the consequences become irreversible? Or has this moment reshaped the political landscape forever? A political earthquake has just shaken Washington. President Joe Biden has officially pardoned his son, Hunter Biden. The reaction has been nothing short of explosive.
With regard to the question regarding the family, I'm extremely proud of my son, Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know, and I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Mother! We were so close. Finally. Democrats have a moral perch from which they can judge without shame, hypocrisy, or nuance.
Joe Biden is. I don't really know what does.
I think I know what does. Biden's decision is done. Look how confident and eloquent our Democratic representatives were back when they thought they had the moral high ground on this issue.
I've not heard a single Democrat anywhere in the country cry fraud, cry fixed, cry rigged, cry kangaroo court. You don't hear a single peep out of any Democrat saying that. Why? We believe in the rule of law.
And now look at what even he, one of the most verbally dexterous attorneys we have on Capitol Hill, has been reduced to.
Do you think President Biden should pardon Hunter Biden?
So there are lots of claims of political prosecution and political
And was Hunter politically prosecuted?
I mean, obviously that's a judicial point, and you've got to look at what the evidence is, and I don't know enough
so
about
should the president pardon him?
I mean, again, that is a unilateral executive power, power that...
and should he use it?
Well, the power exists for the president to show mercy for people.
I mean, we have an executive, and we have a judicial, and then a legislative. Smoke bomb! The problem with it, the problem is the rest of the Democrats made Biden's pledge to not pardon Hunter the foundation of their defense of America, this grand experiment.
One political party remains committed to the rule of law, and the other doesn't. It's that simple.
Hunter Biden's not above the law. No one is above the law. Democrats stand for the rule of law.
We accept the outcome because that's how the rule of law works.
Because the justice system that convicted his only surviving son is the same justice system he's vowed to protect. And if that doesn't tell you who Joe Biden is, I don't really know what does.
I think I know what does. And now look at the dance Democrats have to do.
Be honest, the only reason why they went after Hunter the way they did, and I've talked to many federal prosecutors about this, is because he's the president's son.
People have to remember the president has lost 2 children already, and he does not need to lose another one to more political witch hunts.
The, crowing from Republicans, but we're talking about, Donald Trump is a convicted felon who literally had pardoned his daughter's father-in-law and just made him ambassador to France.
Between Democrats and Republicans, there's a big gap between the law is the only thing that separates us from the animals and the monkey threw shit at me first. I had no choice. He's right. He's an 82-year-old man. Doesn't want to spend the rest of his life visiting his son in prison. Republicans get away with this shit all the time. I'm sure the pardon is a narrowly written, precisely drawn farewell note of compassion for a loved one.
The pardon sweeping, covering offenses that Hunter Biden, quote, has committed or may have committed or taken part in over the past 11 years.
11 years is a very specific and not rounded amount of time. So, Hunter, I'll give you a pardon, a few years, 5 years, 10 years. It needs to be 11. And if you would be so kind, make sure this upcoming New Year's Eve is also covered. Shit's going to get crazy. I didn't know pardons could cover crimes you may have committed. I'm sorry. I'm surprised Biden didn't include the phrase, on Earth 1 or any of the Earths in the multiverse.
Across the political spectrum, outrage is mounting and heated debates are taking center stage. But this isn't just another political controversy, it's a pivotal moment that lays bare the stark double standards of those in power. The same figures who once insisted that justice must be applied equally are now bending the rules when it serves their own interests. And as this hypocrisy unfolds, the cracks in their carefully constructed narrative are becoming impossible to ignore. The political fallout has been swift and unforgiving. Democrats, who have long positioned themselves as defenders of fairness and the rule of law, now find themselves caught in an uncomfortable predicament. Just months ago, they firmly stated that no matter how power should be above the law. Yet, with this pardon, they are being forced to confront their own contradictions, and their attempts to justify the move only deepen the skepticism. Enter Jon Stewart, the renowned comedian and part-time host of The Daily Show, who has never shied away from political critique. In a recent episode, Stewart took direct aim at the glaring inconsistencies within the Democratic Party and the media establishment. Devoting a significant portion of his show to the topic, he didn't hold back in highlighting how the same people who once championed justice are now scrambling to rewrite the rules. His scathing analysis cut through the political spin, leaving no room for excuses. One of his main targets, Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin. Raskin had previously made bold declarations about the party's unwavering commitment to upholding the law, asserting that justice must be served without bias. But when confronted with the question of whether Biden should pardon his son, his response was anything but clear. Hesitation replaced certainty, and his once confident stance became riddled with contradictions. His struggle to provide a direct answer underscored a deeper issue: how quickly principles can shift when power is at stake. And it's not just politicians who are on the defensive. Major media outlets, which once insisted on strict adherence to legal accountability, now find themselves navigating an awkward balancing act. Many of the same commentators who previously argued that legal consequences should be non-negotiable are now painting Biden's decision as an act of compassion rather than a blatant act of political favoritism. As this controversy continues to unfold, one pressing question remains: can the Democratic Party distance itself from Biden's decision, or will this move leave a lasting stain on their credibility? The political landscape is shifting, and the fallout from this decision is only just beginning. But it's not just politicians who are caught in this firestorm. The media, which claims to be objective and impartial, is also struggling to maintain credibility. The very commentators who once insisted that justice must be blind are now twisting themselves into knots to justify Biden's pardon. Instead of calling out the blatant favoritism, they argue that this was an act of compassion rather than corruption. The contradiction is glaring, and the public isn't buying it. As this scandal deepens, the political divide grows even sharper. Some insist that Hunter Biden was unfairly targeted simply because of his father's position, while others argue that this pardon is nothing more than a desperate maneuver to shield the Biden family from further scrutiny. Even within the Democratic Party, fractures are forming. Loyalty to Biden is wavering, as some fear that standing by him will cost them politically. The president's decision is no longer just about his son, it's a test of where the party stands and how much hypocrisy voters are willing to tolerate. Republicans, on the other hand, are seizing this moment to hammer home their argument. While Biden extends mercy to his own family, Trump's allies continue to face relentless legal battles. The contrast couldn't be clearer, and for many it raises an undeniable question: are the rules truly applied equally, or do they shift depending on who's in power? Now, a critical question looms over the Democratic Party. Can they distance themselves from Biden before his actions drag them down? Or will they remain tethered to his decisions, no matter the cost? One thing is certain: the fallout from this scandal is far from over. So, where do you stand? Is this a justifiable act of mercy or a blatant abuse of power? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay updated on the biggest political controversies shaking the nation, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The political drama is just getting started.